8-year assault on your Second Amendment freedoms has come to a crashing end. I like taking the guns early. Take the guns first, go through due process second.
Well, I say go fuck yourself. Then ask a question, could I kill a man? I would enjoy myself. You can't disguise evil eyes that burn up my head. This devil man and his master plan. We feel so misled, so I say, rise up, take all back. Rise up, take it all back. Rise up. Hope you all understand. We got to take it all back again.
These people are not going to take it any longer. We will never give up. We will never concede. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. But go home and go home in peace. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. You do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
Wow, y'all blowing up my chat before I even show up. What's up, everybody? Riddle is in the house, obviously. She's right there. Zeus, let's go, Brandon, says John Doe. It's one of my favorite things. I don't know why it's one of my favorite things, but it is one of my favorite things. Gloria Miller is quoting Dr. Glenn Detman and Calo Carinos. I think I got that one correct, so yay me. Very interesting. I haven't seen those before, but I have no idea. I know that there have been mandated shots before for things in the past. And back then, I don't believe they went through your employer. And I believe it was pretty easy to just say, yeah, I got it, totally got it. There was no passports. Now they're checking. Jonas Salk, inventor of the IPAV, testified before Senate subcommittee that nearly all polio outbreaks in '61 were caused by the oral polio sniffle shot. Fun fact, my grandfather had polio. He had a hump on his back. Was the hardest working person I ever saw. He was a cattle rancher. Owned a lot of land and a lot of cattle. And what a man. I mean, he did not let that limit him. That's what a lot of people are saying, Gloria, with the whole die-off thing. But I don't know. I'm a little bit, let's wait and see. I'm hoping not, actually. You know, everybody should hope that that doesn't happen. I think you should still take your own doctor's advice and your own research into account if you decide to get something or not. I don't know why people think that, you know, people on YouTube are giving out any kind of medical advice when, unless your name is Patriot Nurse or something, then maybe. But mine's not. Politicians leading everyone off the cliff. Hey, Daniel, how you doing? The tests are meaningless. I don't know. I have a guy that comes in here once in a while named Guns Coast to Coast. His company that he works for, I guess, manufactures some of those tests. I have no idea. I know that there was a high inaccuracy rate originally. What it is now, if it's gotten any better, who knows? But at the time when it first came out, it was like 80% false positive, which is not a great thing. Like, you get a better test with flipping a coin. Though the whole world relies on the RT-PCR to diagnose. Yada, yada, yeah. All the time of the recall. Vioxx has been taking 4 million Americans. Arthritis drug has caused a lot of heart attacks. Wow. There's a lot of things out there that'll kill you. Definitely consult your doctor. I think one of them was an antidepressant medication that one of the side effects is death. Are you depressed? Are you thinking about killing yourself? Take this pill. Side effects include death, I guess. Well, I've been busy today trying to hook up a new security system, camera system anyway, that we got from Sam's Club on a really good discount and came highly recommended, I guess, from my good friend Irish USMC Vet. So I decided to pop for it. It was like $100 off or something like that. So we got it working. Now we just got to string up the cables and put the cameras where we want them. And I'm kind of the person that I'll second guess it, right? I'm like, I'm going to put the camera there and I'll put it there. And I'll be like, man, it would have been so much better if I just put it over there. And it'll bother me for a day or two until I do it and then have to rewire everything. So I'm not looking forward to doing all that. Thank you, Stream Elements. Well, I don't know if there's a lot going on in the news. I was going to start off with the whole Pfizer thing, and that is one of the first stories, but a lot has been going on with the ATF, and I definitely think that we should be paying attention to it. So we'll get into a video from Reno May. A few YouTubers have been doing this. Y'all might have seen it already. I have seen this first one, I believe. The second one is an update to the rare breed trigger. I don't know who all has one. I'm not asking if you have one or not, but if you do, that story might be interesting to you. And even if you don't have it, it might be interesting to you for other freedom-loving reasons. So let's start.
Hello everyone, today we're talking about some stuff that is going on with the ATF and how it might be doubling in size. We have some more information as far as how it is actually going to get bigger, how the ATF is going to become more powerful when it comes to how they enforce laws that don't exist. This is something that we've seen time and time again, but this news is coming from our friend John Crump over at Ammo Land. He does a lot of investigative journalism when it comes to leaks and
I think we'll definitely see some sort of major gun control before too long. Maybe even before the midterms or right at the midterms. It just seems like they're gearing up for that.
Various behind-the-scenes dealings with the ATF, the Department of Justice, and the government in general when it comes to your Second Amendment rights. Now, I'm going to be reading from my phone an article that he sent to me prior to it going live. This is just some notes that I wanted to share with you when it comes to what is going on and how is the ATF becoming even more powerful. Hopefully, at the time of this video going live, I will have a link to the full article that you can read down below. Now, there's a whole lot of acronyms to keep track of here, so I'm going to do my
Yes,
best to try
John
to be as
Crump.
clear as possible.
John Crump is the guy that all these YouTubers are getting their information from, which is amazing because he's on. Well, last time I checked, he had like 8,000 subs. I think he's over 12 now, and he's been getting big because he's got a whistleblower. Well, I want to say a whistleblower. I'd say a leaker inside the ATF apparently, which, damn. I would imagine they're trying to quash that as fast as possible.
And we might reiterate these acronyms and say it more than we might necessarily need to. So, effective October 31st, the ATF will be establishing 4 new branches. The branches will be the Firearms Enforcement Officer Development Branch and 4 Field Response Branches, FRBs. The newly announced additions will be part of the Firearms and Ammunition Technology Division and the Office of Enforcement Programs and Services, the EPS and FATD. Now, the FRBs, the Field Response Branches, will be broken up into 3 regions, East, Central, and West. Each FRB will be responsible for the administration, oversight, and management of the Firearms Evidence Officer Regional Response Program, the FEOs. These new field offices with regional FEOs, Firearms Evidence Officers, are a departure from the current setup. Right now, all of those FEOs are currently in West Virginia. The new setup would have the FEO permanently assigned to regional offices across the country, meaning that instead of having one centralized location where all these experts are supposed to be, then if needed, they would travel to a destination, go there, check out what they need to check out, do their job, and then leave. This would now create several new offices where they would be permanently stationed, creating more people, more administrators, more cost. Now, for example, one of these FEOs actually looked at the rare breed trigger. This is something that's currently going on right now. The ATF is trying to say that the rare breed trigger, the FRT, is actually a machine gun in and of itself. One of these FEOs had to go out there and look at that. Now, the ATF is trying to create a system where there would be more of these FEOs stationed in more locations and doing more. Now, the ATF is trying to say that this is going to be a cost-cutting expenditure because they look at the travel costs of having their West Virginia-based FEOs having to go to a certain location and do these things. They're saying, hey, that's really expensive to do. Their solution to that is to create permanent offices that didn't exist previously, have administrators, have people training, create new systems, more people in more locations. So they want to spend tons of money to save a little bit of money. To me, that doesn't exactly make sense. The ATF is claiming that there's no downsides to this, that it's saving them money on travel expenses, but they're neglecting the fact that they're going to have to increase the cost to simply exist outside of the travel expenses. So yeah, while your centrally located position in West Virginia created situations where people had to travel more and spend more money on travel, they are now replacing it with a system that requires you to spend massive amounts more money simply to exist. Yes, you go a little bit less distance traveling from a field office to somewhere nearby, but this is just another situation where they're adding more people, more power, and do I foresee this getting worse in the future? Well, with the push that the ATF is going, it all started with the bump stocks. Now it's pistol braces, now it's the triggers, now it's homemade firearms. They are looking to try to have more impact in more ways, more often. And this is just the next step. We look at firearms that shoot really fast, and they said that the bump stock was a machine gun because it allowed you to shoot so quickly, even though it didn't break the actual legal characteristics of semi-auto versus full auto. It didn't break the law, but the ATF said, yeah, well, we don't really like that anymore. That thing that you were doing that was super legal for a long time.
That they approved and had an approval letter for the bump stock?
We think that's illegal now. And setting it up like this is just their way of being able to do that in more ways. Because if they can get more FEOs to look at more items in more locations, they can infringe on your rights in more ways across the nation much more efficiently. If you truly believe that a government program has your self-interest in mind of reducing the cost, it just doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. They're not doing it to save money. I do believe that there's going to be a giant push for major gun control before this administration is done. All right. And next is the rare breed trigger. Apparently they lost part of their case in court, not the entire case, but I guess a ruling from the judge.
Hello everyone, recording this at night should go up tomorrow. So we have some information regarding the rare breed FRT and how the ATF determined it to be a machine gun. Now it seems as if rare breed triggers has lost their fight in court. It's not completely over yet, but it's certainly not going to be good. If you own one of these, or if you do know someone that owns one of these, this is something you're going to want to pay attention to. I will give you a brief timeline of events, and then we're going to kind of talk about what's going on. So, for those of you that are unaware, Rare Breed Triggers is a firearms manufacturer that produces a drop-in trigger for your AR-15. What this trigger does is when you pull the trigger and the firearm cycles, the action resets that trigger, forcing it forward, allowing you to pull it incredibly quickly. Basically, is a semi-auto trigger, not a full auto trigger, and it lets you shoot really fast. Now, the ATF sees that and decides that it's a full auto trigger without ever seeing it. Then, at some point, they get a hold of one of these triggers, they inspect it and determine, yeah, that's a full auto trigger, which seems pretty fair, right? They go into it looking to prove it's a full auto trigger, then they look at it and say, yeah, it's a full auto trigger. So it seems like they just wanted an excuse to get this off the market. Then they send a cease and desist to Rare Breed telling them to stop selling them. Rare Breed basically says to go pound sand and tells the ATF to kick rocks. Now, at this point, Rare Breed files a restraining order against the ATF. They lose. Then they file a preliminary injunction against the ATF to get the cease and desist to be halted till this whole court case is over. It seems as if that preliminary injunction was lost, meaning that Rare Breed firearms and Rare Breed triggers is potentially going to be put in a situation where they are either forced to comply or die. And these are the situations that many customers could potentially find themselves in if they do end up, or if they did end up purchasing one of these triggers and then the ATF decides, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Joe friendly neighbor, I'm here to take your guns. Now, Rare Breed claims that this will ruin their company and cause grave harm financially to the owner and the company itself. The judge basically says, nah, since you're a practicing lawyer, which the owner of Rare Breed Triggers is a lawyer, he says, nah, you're a lawyer, you can just go do that. Who cares if it's going to completely destroy this company? You're going to be fine, bro. Then they claim that they will lose their patent case against Big Daddy Unlimited. If you're interested more in that Big Daddy Unlimited potential patent infringement situation, I have a video talking about that. I have plans to try to talk to some people from Big Daddy Unlimited and kind of get their side of the story. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. Now, the big problem here is that if Rare Breed loses and the ATF has their way, the ATF is claiming that Rare Breed has to send a customer list to the ATF so the ATF would know everyone that purchased one of these triggers. That's kind of concerning to me. I don't personally own one of these, but I know many people that do. And if Rare Breed bends the knee and gives that information over to the ATF, that would be pretty bad for a lot of people, because then they're going to have to decide for themselves, do they keep it and not comply with the ATF, whatever consequences that may bring, or do they turn it in? This is a situation that I think could be facing many people if this whole court case doesn't go the way that we want it to, which is the way of, this is a semi-automatic trigger.
Let me pause it right there. So in order to buy a Rare Breed, I don't know if it's still the case or not, but when I had friends looking into buying a Rare Breed trigger, you had to give them a physical address, and they did not accept crypto. So there was no way. You couldn't just send an envelope and some cash and a PO box. They wanted to know exactly where you were and have a payment on record. And I always thought that's a little bit strange. And when they came out and started fighting the whole ATF thing, I was like, okay, that's surprising because I was fully, thinking that they're just going to be like, yep, okay, we're done making them. Here's everybody we sold one to, and then just bounce and do something else. I'm very surprised that the guy is fighting it, happily surprised, because we definitely need more people fighting it. And I'm also glad that the WOT, Wide Open Trigger, or Big Daddy Unlimited, pretty much copyright infringed it. And then there's another company coming out with a force reset trigger as well that's a little bit different, supposed to be run even better. So if you get enough companies doing that, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be harder to get them out of everybody's hands. If I was that company, I'd send the ATF all the names of Democrats and Hollywood elites, and then you would go to jail for the rest of your life. Because they would pretty much, how many triggers did you sell? Because that's 10 years in prison each one. 10 years in prison each one? Do you want to spend the rest of your life in prison? That's what's going to happen. Most likely. Okay, enough about the triggers and the ATF. I can only take so much of that because it makes me extremely upset. However, Pfizer board members revealed the new Delta Plus thing is, and maybe more shots are to come. I'm going to have to get through this without supposedly giving out medical advice because that's not what I'm trying to do. Scott Golub, a Pfizer board member of the former FDA commissioner, excitedly tweeted Sunday about the emergence of a new AY.4 sniffle variant, which will require even more shots. Wow, he was excited about it. Well, they think. Reported it's the biggest one-day sniffle case increase in 3 months, just as the new Delta variant AY.4 with the mutation in the spikes reaches 8% of the UK sequence cases. We need urgent research to figure out if this Delta Plus is more transmittable and has partial immune evasion. Another round. I'm telling you, it ain't ever gonna end. We're gonna be talking about this for years. Let's see. According to Gottlieb, sniffle surges have started again. UK reported its biggest one-day sniffle case increase in 3 months. He called the new variant foreboding Delta Plus, suggesting that it may require even more shots, presumably made by Pfizer. Well, obviously, because they're the best. We'll need urgent research to figure out if this Delta Plus is more transmittable, has partial immune evasion. Continuing his tweet thread, he advocated for more intrusive regulation in order to study the sniffles and its spread. The variant has been in the UK since about July, but it has been slowly increasing in prevalence. They're probably not even testing for it. He continued, we have the tools. He then pushed for the creation of a robust global system to identify, characterize new variants in order to ensure a coordinated global priority for it. Of course, the ruling class has long dreamed of universal shots, and big pharmaceutical companies have taken no issue with that. Yeah, they're making a ton of money on those things. Yet universal shots would require a great deal of fear-mongering, which our rulers seem well aware of. Sniffle czar Anthony Fauci several years ago urged universal shots, claiming that he must simply ignore political procedures and popular conceptions about disease and address the problem in a disruptive way and an interactive way, because you need both. You ain't never gonna stop hearing of this. It's the Delta. Well, now it's the Delta Plus. Well, I'm running for office, so just send me your vote and money, and I will do as they all do. And that's nothing. Are you seriously running for office? Because that'd be cool. I know Tactical Tony is. Still think he's planning on running for sheriff of his local area. So good luck to him. Yep, lots of money. 42 months, and we're at 24. Wasn't it 12 days? 2 weeks to flatten the curve? If you're scared, I get money. If you resist, I get money, get paid. Yeah, you got, right now, you got job security, for sure. And it's never going to go away, whether it be the sniffles or something totally different. There'll be something else. So, yeah, I would definitely keep some stock in that company. Canada bans public employees from using the Let's Go Brandon. That's hilarious. I wonder, because I have a game that I play on my phone, and I changed my name on it to Let's Go Brandon because you can't get away with fuck Joe Biden on there. I wonder how long it's going to be before they tell me I have to change that. So far, not yet. The Canadian government has banned the use of Let's Go Brandon chant by public employees, according to a PJ Media report. In a memo last week, an official warned that the use of the wording Let's Go Brandon in any circumstances is impermissible. Well, damn, I hope you don't have a kid named Brandon and he's playing high school football, because then you can't tell him to let's go. You'll have to come up with something else. Further, any state employee using the word will be fired immediately. Violation of, you gotta love, you think, oh man, that's such a nice nation over there. Such nice people. Violation of this policy, the notice says, will be grounds for immediate dismissal without recourse or labor union representation. Although framed as a general rule, the inclusion of Let's Go Brandon phrase in particular reveals the intent of Canadian bureaucrats. According to the memo, the government will vet personal correspondence to ensure that the phrase is not used. Personal correspondence? They're checking your text messages? Possibly? Let's Go Brandon chant has been widely embraced as a symbol for how tired people are of state and private regulations. No, it's a fuck Joe Biden. The tenuous rule, a web of rules that governs all of social life, and the brazen gaslighting of media elites, yada, yada, yada. The Canadians have responded by increasing surveillance and regulation. For the past month or so, crowds at various sporting events have started chanting, fuck Joe Biden, to show their displeasure with the president. The chant originated at the NASCAR track, which we all know. Soon, a popular TikTok person created a song, but the rapper behind the viral video was suspended by TikTok for bullying. The song even topped Apple Music's rap and hip-hop genre on Thursday and sold more than 500,000 units. And you can get it as a ringtone, last time I checked. So that's cool. Next, it will be Delta Plus Pro. Delta Plus Air. It's going to just be like Apple, new Apple products. They're not even in the U.S. No, they're not. But they're actually, they don't have free speech at all. I mean, there was somebody who got in trouble for coming on to Tucker Carlson and talking openly about something, and apparently had said something bad that the government didn't like. It might have been with the whole sniffle stuff, but yeah, he got fired. Facebook is hiring 10,000 foreign workers to create Matrix-like virtual reality metaverse. Facebook said it plans to hire 10,000 workers in the European Union over the next 5 years to work on a new computing platform that promises to connect people virtually, but could raise concerns about privacy. If you're concerned about your privacy and you're on Facebook, you're not concerned about your privacy. I just saw a video from a reviewer that we like to watch named Freaking Reviews. I don't know if you guys watch him or not, but he reviews, like, as seen on TV, products and stuff that you'd buy at the store. Well, he recently did a review on Ray-Ban glasses. I believe they're called the Share or something. I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, they got cameras, microphones, Bluetooth. They have speakers near the ears, and you can play your music on it. You can take pictures of it. You can take 30-second videos on it, but you can only hook it up to Facebook.
They're called Smart Stories.
Smart Stories, thank you. You really got to be into yourself to do all that, I suppose. But if you're on TikTok or on Facebook and you want to show your experience, there you go, without worrying about your privacy. Everything's spying on you nowadays. The company said in a blog post Sunday that those high-skilled workers will help build the metaverse, a futuristic notion from connecting online that uses augmented and virtual reality. Facebook executives have been touting the metaverse as a next big thing after the mobile internet, though their track record is spotty on predicting future trends. Expectations Mark Zuckerberg made 4 years ago of taking viral vacations with faraway loved ones via a headset or using a smartphone camera to improve an apartment virtually have not materialized so far. That would be interesting. The company also contending with antitrust crackdowns, the testimony of whistleblowing former employees exposing its callous disregard for the health of teenage girls, and attacks from leftists who claim the company does not significantly censor misinformation posted by Republicans. Not surprised. It's always us darn people who like to live free and just be left alone. Not surprisingly, it's eager to change the subject and sway public opinion back into its court. As we begin the journey of bringing the metaverse to life, the need for highly specialized engineers is one of Facebook's most pressing priorities, according to the blog post from Nick Clegg. Okay. Facebook recruiters are targeting Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Poland, Netherlands, and Ireland for the hiring drive. Well, if you're in those areas, I guess you can get a job for that. Yep, so glad I left Facebook. Yeah, I haven't been. I still have the account. I mean, it's still on there, and I do have Facebook Messenger because I have one damn good friend that will not get off of it. I text him, but for some reason, he still likes to hit me up on Facebook Messenger once in a while. Everything it offers, I need less in my life. The only good thing that I ever found on Facebook was finding friends from high school that I lost their number years ago. And so it was kind of cool to get in touch with some old friends that way. That was it. After that, I was like, okay, you know what? I don't even talk to them now. So, I mean, it is what it is. I have an Instagram for the half-naked women. Oh, cool. So you can tell them you need Jesus. Riddle stays on Facebook to keep in contact with folks, troll, and share memes. Do I need it? No. Do I want to partake in its metaverse? No. I do have a VR headset, though, so VR can be fun, but after a while of being in VR, like if you have a VR set, don't spend a ton of money on it. Get something small. If you're thinking about getting one, get one small, because if you go all out and spend, I think you can spend over $1,000 on these things, and some of them are like $300, right? If you go out and spend $1,000 and it's really cool, but then you kind of get tired of it and you don't really use it that much, it's kind of a waste. My fam keeps asking me back, but all I hear is how they're fighting all the time. Well, Riddle gets Facebook jailed all the time. Facebook Marketplace is good. It was when you could buy actual things. Unfortunately, everything I want to buy, they don't allow on their site. School boards cut ties with national group that calls parents domestic tourists. Well, that's good. That's a good story. Pennsylvania School Board Association severed its ties with the National School Boards Association over its letter to President Biden, which compared parents concerned with the critical race theory to domestic tourists, because you don't want your kids indoctrinated in a certain way. Now you're a tourist. Good. In an internal memo, the PSBA called the NSBA's letter calling parents domestic tourists the final straw in the organization's decision to leave the association. The governing board of the Pennsylvania School Boards Association has voted unanimously to cancel the PSBA's longstanding membership in the National School Board Association, the memo reportedly said. Previously, PSBA said it believed that the NSBA offered support and organization, but has now realized the national counterpart is nothing more than a partisan branch. This misguided approach has made our work and that of many school boards more difficult. Now is the time for more politics and posturing. Now is not the time for more politics and posturing. It's time for solutions to the many challenges facing education. The memo responded to obviously organized state assault on upset and concerned parents. Are these acts of malice, violence, and threats against public school officials have increased? The classification of these heinous actions could be the equivalent to a form of domestic terrorism and hate crimes. Wow. The association then asked that federal, state, and local law enforcement cooperate in prosecution of parents upset by critical race theory. NSBA respectively asked that a joint collaboration among federal law enforcement agencies, state and local law enforcement, and with public school officials be undertaken to focus on these threats. The NSBA's letter prompted a quick response from Biden's administration, which cracked down within a week. That is correct. Because you went there and bitched either about forcing masks or critical race theory. Now you've been put on a list and most likely are getting a visit. Attorney General Merrick Garland penned a letter comparing concerned parents to domestic tourists, suggesting that the FBI should partner with local law enforcement to implement the measures of prosecuting these families. It's the fall of a nation. There's no voting our way out. Something's got to break. Is it going to be the economy? Is it going to be full-on tyranny, which it's getting closer every dang day? Dr. Roger Hodgkinson said on Sniffles, this is the biggest hoax ever perpetrated on an unsuspecting public. Might be. You want to know? Public schools should not be teaching about critical race, sex, genders, and politics of any kind. Yeah, you think. But, you know, the critical race theory, they're not saying it's political. They're just teaching the other part of history that nobody ever taught before because, you know, white men are bad. That's what happened with you. I bought an Oculus and got tired of it. It seems like they didn't update anything and it just got tired of it. Luckily, I only spent a few hundred. What's up, Gerald? How you doing? Oh, I like my VR, and I do stream it sometimes to the gaming channel. I haven't done it in a long time. The main reason for me is the space. This room is kind of small, and you got to move around, which, you know, also a great exercise. There's a lot of good, like Beat Saber, get you sweating good. Oh yeah, I got an ad blocker on this. Hold on. By the way, ad blockers are free. You should just search for it. Whatever browser you use, search for that browser ad blocker, and usually they're free. So I'll do it once on this. Now, we brought this up on the Morning Muster over on Irish USMC Vets channel. Irish USMC Vet channel. Apparently, a police officer has quit in a unique way in Washington State. This is the last time you'll hear me in a patrol car, and James Inslee can kiss my ass. Washington State trooper of 22 years slams government's shot mandate as he signs off for the final time after being fired because he didn't get his shot. A veteran Washington State trooper who was forced out of the job by state's shot mandates has released a video of his final sign-off and ended it by saying, "Governor Jay Inslee can kiss my ass." The trooper, who did not say his name, told how he had served in the department for more than 22 years in Yakima County. But Saturday night was his last shift, with Governor Inslee's mandate ordering most state employees to have the shot coming into force on October 18th, which is today. "This is my final sign-off after 22 years serving the citizens of the state of Washington. I've been asked to leave because I'm dirty," the officer began. "Numerous fatalities, injuries. I've worked sick. I've played sick. Buried lots of friends over these years. I'd like to thank you guys, as well as the citizens of Yakima County, as well as my fellow officers within the valley. Without you guys, I wouldn't have been very successful." I'm guessing this is the individual here. This is the video.
This is my final sign-off after 22 years of serving the citizens of the state of Washington, being asked to leave because I am dirty. Numerous fatalities, injuries. I've worked sick. I've played sick. We buried lots of friends over these years. I'd like to thank you guys. I'd like to thank the citizens of Yakima County, as well as my fellow officers within the valley. Without you guys, I wouldn't have been very successful, and you've kept me safe and got me home to my family every night. Thank you for that. Wish I could say more, but this is it. So, State 1034, this is the last time you'll hear me in a state patrol car. And Jay Inslee can kiss my ass.
Mic drop.
1034, thank you for your 22 years and 5 months of service to the citizens of Washington State. You've taken on many roles in your time with the patrol. In your first year, you delivered a baby while on patrol in Bremerton. You've been a DRE instructor, certified technical specialist, and reconstructionist, peer support member, part of the chaplaincy board, and a CVD trooper. You've been a great role model and mentor for all young troopers serving in the area by sharing your knowledge and experience throughout the years. Thank you for your service. 1906.
it.
There you go. We had this on Brenda's phone from the start tonight. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I do like being able to watch on the go. I was able to do that a couple times while I was on my vacation. We was in town on the way home when it started. I'm not into VR. Maybe when I'm old and need an escape from hunger pains in the United States of China. For my allotted 1 hour of playtime each month. Yeah, I know, right? What's up, Zudak? Does the cop keep his pension? I have no idea. Maybe they'll say. He continued. We already heard all that. All right. Thank you for your service. People fill the camp. That's a different story. The deadline for most state government health care and school workers in Washington to get their shots is on Monday, but those refusing to get the jab have plenty of time to prepare. Governor Inslee issued the sweeping order in August with a clear directive: show proof of your shots on or before October 18th or lose your job. Thousands of workers have requested exemptions, and there have also been extensions made for some employees. However, more than 90% of Washington state's government workers are now said to have been fully shotted as of Saturday, according to the Seattle Times. The shot mandate is currently one of the strictest in the country. On social media, there was plenty of support for the retiring officer. He has more support than he knows, wrote one user. His strength is admirable. I cannot say that tonight. His public service is appreciated and commended. Heartbreaking 20 years of service is not replaceable, added another. It doesn't say. Oh. I mean, we already know what Biden did. Yeah, no idea. I'll have to look into that. Brenda did sub and thumbs it up. Oh, sweet. Thank you for the sub. I'm surprised that it didn't come up as an alert. It usually will, unless you sub beforehand or while I was not on live. Biden's busted going unmasked at a fancy D.C. restaurant. Every American deserves an answer from Biden directly explaining why he thinks it's allowed to break the rules that he demands others to follow, because it's just like anybody else. All right, yep, no mask, no mask. Few masks. Oh, that was a quick video. Okay. President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden now believe that the pandemic has ended, dining at and leaving a swanky D.C. restaurant with no mask. Biden dined on lobster, that must be nice, at Flora Mare, a fancy Italian seafood restaurant in Georgetown. In a video taken of the first couple, the president and his wife can be seen leaving the restaurant maskless, despite making constant demands on others to wear them. Wow. They just wanted a night without the mask, I guess, but everybody else still had to wear it. Washington, D.C. still requires that masks be worn indoors at restaurants except when eating or drinking. The mandate was reinstated in July and is mandatory for everyone over the age of 2 indoors. Flora Mare's own website says, per CDC guidance and the D.C. Muriel Bowser executive order, all individuals over the age of 2 are required to wear a mask indoors regardless of their status. Masks must always be worn while in our restaurants except while eating and drinking. When asked about the footage on Monday, White House Press Secretary Psaki dismissed Biden's maskless negligence as a minor incident that does not deserve media attention. It kind of does, because it's rules for thee and not for me. See, admirable? Forcing people to undergo a medical procedure shot or you stealing their job is the definition. Yeah. Yeah. They are basically telling you, do you want to feed your family? Think about it. You have a father and a mother, possibly. Maybe it's a single income family. I don't know, but let's just use father, mother, family. Then the father is the breadwinner. He's got 3 kids. How is he going to feed his kids if he can't go to his job? But he's not going to get the shot. But it's being mandated that he gets it. You're basically telling him, get the shot or let your children starve. Because if he goes to another company, it's going to happen there too. He's going to have to find a company with less than 100 employees to get around that, depending on what state he lives in, obviously. Ships in port, boogeyman at sea. Is there? Are y'all talking in code? I didn't really care about that story too much. It's just, you're not even surprised. I know I'm not. Are you ever surprised when you see another politician doing something they tell everybody else not to do, whether it be mask, whether it be affordable health care, whether it be anything? I don't even know how to pronounce this, but Loudon, prosecutor who charged father of rape victim, was funded by Soros. Okay. Fox News reports that Loudoun County prosecutor who sought jail time against a father who was arrested at a school board meeting after his daughter was okay, I know this one now. Okay, the prosecutor who sought jail time against the father who was arrested at a school board meeting after his daughter was allegedly sexually assaulted in a school bathroom has ties to a progressive megadonor, George Soros, and Democratic Virginia gubernatorial nominee Terry McAuliffe. Buddha Burbajaw, Commonwealth attorney for Loudoun County, Virginia, received more than $860,000 from Soros Justice and Public Safety PAC as she defeated her Republican opponent, Maria Nicole Whitman, with just 51% of the vote. On June 2nd, Scott Smith, a 48-year-old plumber and longtime resident of Loudoun County, was arrested and dragged out of Loudoun County School Board meeting while protesting the board's inaction after he reported that his then 14-year-old daughter was raped by a transgender student. Smith was found guilty on August 17th of disorderly conduct and resisting arrest after Bibiger, whatever her name is, appeared in court to personally prosecute Smith, despite knowing that the details of the case involved his daughter. The judge was more lenient with the boy who assaulted Smith's daughter, recommending that the student be removed from his current school and required to wear an ankle monitor. That's what you get for rape nowadays. I mean, the one guy who shot, the one kid who went into a school and shot like 4 people and then was released on bond like less than 24 hours later. This is upsetting. If it had been a white kid, he would have been still in jail. I mean, look, you still have Kyle Rittenhouse. I think he's not in jail anymore, but he's going through the ringer, right? They're not going to put this other kid who went into his school and shot 4 kids and a teacher, I guess 4 individuals. One of them was a teacher. And he's out on bail. Now this guy's just got an ankle monitor. In response to questions from Fox 5, the judge claimed, "We believe, based on the facts that he had no history of having done this prior to this offense, that it was alleged, and said that there was a belief it was unlikely he would reoffend." And you know what's going to happen is he will. Eventually. Probably not until after this case. The county attorney then went on to ask for patience from the public. I would ask this from people to be patient because, as we know, what sometimes is reported initially is not then what is the end result of all the facts. Wow. Wow. Okay, hold up. What's up, War Angel? Insider trading? I don't think so. Oh, yeah. You're talking about Washington and how they have lobbyists. Oh, you want me to vote your way, do you? Huh? Yeah. Dinner should be ready in about 5 minutes. This is over a half-pounder bacon cheeseburgers with fries and onion. It sounds healthy. I know someone who works for a national company and they haven't said a thing about firing. I'm wondering how they are skirting it, as they aren't testing either. So the company apparently. I wouldn't be surprised if some companies are going to refuse to fall in line. There's Riddle works for a bank, and they're trying to impose that $600 every time you withdraw or deposit more than $600 into your account. It's supposed to alert the FBI, kind of like the $10,000 thing is now. Like if you went to your bank and withdrew $10,000, it'd ask you questions, right? Or somebody would ask you questions. At least they would know that you did that. Well, they're trying to make that $600. Well, the bank that Riddle works for is fighting it because it's going to cost them $2.2 billion to get to the point where they can do that. And I would imagine it's going to cost a lot of people a lot of good employees and put them liable somewhat, maybe. They are manning the keyboards to keep the comment sections clear of all the flat earth around the globe. Have you ever read Section 1 of the Nuremberg Code? No, I have not. Section 1 of the Nuremberg Code. I'll copy it. I'll paste it. Doesn't enforce the mandates, nothing happens. I mean, nothing has happened. Yeah, what do you do with the companies that don't enforce it? Well, you can regulate them, I guess. Doesn't enforce the mandates, nothing happens. Oh, yeah, I read that. 800 people, no mandate, no testing. Good. If OSHA declares it in 2 weeks, it may change. This place employs 10,000 nationwide. Not many people will walk. Give it 2 weeks. He didn't fit the agenda. Deal alert, quick pins, rear takedown replacement. $99. That sounds like a lot of money.
It's a really cool gadget. I think I want one.
Oh no. All right. OSHA's no joke. I worked for a place that cut steel. They came through the check for violations but never actually looked at the paperwork. Nice. They're supposed to be replaced every month. Yeah, didn't disagree, but the ball's in their court. That will bankrupt the banks. It will. 2.2 billion. 2.2 billion for one, and you know it's a large bank. You've heard of it, right? They don't want to pay 2.2 billion dollars in order to put that into place. I'm biased though. If OSHA moves forward, I'll make yeah. You're pretty well set as long as they don't require it. 9mm is in stock, 38 cents around. That's better. How would that $600 amount really work? Minimum for SSI checks is $735. Yeah, I don't know. I would imagine like direct deposit. It's not going to be a big deal because, I mean, most people get more than $600 when they get paid, especially if you're getting paid by week or bi monthly, right? Under 100 people only last a year or so. They fabricate records. Well, and the other question is, if they mandate you get the shot in order to work there, are they going to mandate boosters as well? Because what happens when you still get sick and you've had all your shots? Jon Stewart tells CNN it's a mistake to portray Trump as an incredible supervillain. This sounds good, but it's not. First of all, never trust anybody in Hollywood. According to the leftist political commentator and part-time comedian Jon Stewart, the media has erred by focusing so heavily on former President Trump rather than those who voted for him. In his view, media outlets are making a mistake for crediting the former president for having changed the nature of American politics. I think we made a mistake focusing on all this on Trump as if he's Magneto and some incredible supervillain that has changed the very nature and temperature of the U.S. In Stewart's opinion, Americans ought to recognize and hold accountable supporters of the former president as well. He later suggests, that's like 50% of the country, dude. He later suggests that the political right's obsession with power could be the undoing of the American democracy. Right. The Republicans' thirst of power. Got it. Trump has just been an effective vessel, but he's not singing new songs. I think it's a mistake to focus all this on one individual and not to focus it more on the idea that power is on its own reward, rather whether it be in the financial industry or government. Power doesn't seed itself, and unless we can figure out a better way to balance out the power, we'll be vulnerable. Yeah. So they really want to come after you, but Trump was just in the way, apparently. The Great Reset. Just the small banks. Can you imagine that? The small bank. If you're a credit union and you have to report on $600 plus and minus every time, how much it's going to cost the big bank that Riddle works at 2.2 billion, or was it billion or million? I think it was billion, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, billion. 2.2 billion. Are you going for the Great Reset is what's going to happen first? Because I want to make a poll or something. Like, is it going to be economic? Is it going to be secession? Is it going to be invasion? Is it going to be economy collapse? There's so many different ways that we're at that 200-year mark of our country, and that's about the how long an empire will last. The big banks will fine and pass the cost on the consumers, or the big banks will be fined. Hell, McDonald's is paying $16 an hour for over 3 times that amount a month. Yeah, there was a McDonald's in Indiana that was paying $19 an hour, I believe, and they pay you daily. So I guess if you deposited it every single day, it might be under $600. The credit unions will be history, mine especially, very small. See you. Ooh, I have a credit union that we actually don't have an account with the big bank that Riddle works at. She doesn't like that bank, but I do like a credit union, and the credit union I had got bought out by another credit union, and I'm not as happy with that one. I would never been over 4 times, but after taxes, yeah. Superman is also well, apparently his son is now homosexual, so yay for that. Buttigieg he's not gonna apologize for a lengthy paternity leave and supply chain failures. You know, all those ships that are out in the harbor. He's busy at home with his husband and his new twins, I guess. He said he would not apologize for taking an extended paternity leave while in the U.S. supply chain remains in shambles. Buttigieg and his partner have taken legal custody of twin children in recent months. In order to take care for the children, Buttigieg took a substantial paternity leave despite crumbling supply chain that could take years to repair. You gotta love it that guys need a paternity now, or like a paternity leave. Really? You adopted them. You didn't even, I don't know, I shouldn't say, but if you adopted them, you had no part in that. Tucker Carlson expressed the thoughts of millions when he argued that Buttigieg should spend more time fixing the massive problems that he'd helped create. According to Carlson, Buttigieg has been on leave from his job since August after adopting a child. Paternity leave, they're calling it. Try to figure out how to breastfeed? No word on how that went. In response, Buttigieg showed no remorse, proclaiming that he was not going to apologize to Tucker Carlson or anyone else. He then went on to suggest that his maternal role is of greater importance than his job. And you might imagine we are both feeding and doing it at all hours of day and night, he said. The work we're doing is joyful, fulfilling, important work, and it's important work. And it's work that every American ought to be able to do whenever they welcome a new child into their family. Yet Buttigieg also mentioned that the supply chain problem caused by Biden and his administration will likely to continue into next year. We never had that when I was a kid. When I was growing up, I think it's been within the last 10 years that I've even heard that, where a heterosexual couple, right? Mother, father, they have a kid. The mother goes on maternity leave because she went through labor and probably has some medical stuff that takes a while to heal up after that. The father didn't do a damn thing. And when I grew up, the father went right back to work. You were lucky if he even showed up for the birth at all. Certainly a lot of challenges that we've been experiencing this year will continue into next, he said when asked about the supply chains. Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee has criticized Buttigieg for his inaction in the face of disaster. We're in the middle of a transportation crisis, and Buttigieg is sitting at home. Meanwhile, cargo boats are unable to dock and shelves are sitting empty. Pete needs to either get back to work or leave the Department of Transportation. It's time to put America's family first. Ooh, that's speaking like Trump. That's what that is. All right. Those are all the stories that I have for you this evening. So, what is the end of this empire going to look like? That's a good question. I think I'm going to look into putting up a poll. I think I can do that as a YouTube creator here and just have people vote on it for a while. Because I'm curious. I don't even know if I had to guess. The economic, crash of the dollar. People rising up against critical race theory or forced shots. Whether it's going to be China declaring World War III on us. States secede because they don't want to, you know, they don't feel represented anymore. I thought that was going to happen by now, actually. With Texas, the way they were talking about the whole election and other things, I was like, Texas is probably going to secede. That's what it sounded like. I know they vote on it every time, but anyway. So before I go down below, we do have some descriptions, and in those descriptions are links. Let me tell you a little bit about them. We have all the places to follow me. I have a secondary YouTube channel. I am currently live on DLive and have at least somebody watching on DLive. We also have a Discord that I like to promote, and that's where you can get all the information if I got a strike or if I'm going to be missing a day or not. Plus good deals that we find Riddle puts on there and other things as well. So check out the Discord. If you don't have Discord, it's pretty easy. It's on your phone, it's on your computer. It's kind of like Facebook, but it's a private group. I only let people that I know are in my chat be part of it. Other than that, we have all the ways to donate money to the channel if you want to do that. Please do not feel obligated. I understand situations are how they are, but I mean, if you just want to throw it at my face, I'm not going to turn it down. However, I will let you know that 50% of all donations to this channel goes directly to Rally Point Irish. That's in the causes I believe in and support down below. That's my good friend Irish trying to get some land in Tennessee where veterans will be able to live and stay room and board free while learning new skills like blacksmithing, gunsmithing, farming, and I think Riddle wants to do some computer classes. So we're hoping to help him out with that, and it's one that I like. We also have the PH Association. That is a disease that I currently live with and am dying of, I guess. Eventually, I will die from it if I don't die of something else. So that one's close to my heart. That's why it's down there. We have the GOA is an organization I support. So that's down there. And also, what else? Oh, ProjectRecover.org, an organization that goes out and looks for lost service members and returns their remains to their families, which is just a great thing all the way around. Iron Dome set up in Guam, cricket in MSM. We're looking at it. Yeah. Good evening. What's up, Bikes? How you doing? Yeah. I haven't heard anything about an Iron Dome being set up in Guam. I'm going to copy that and look into that a little bit. By the way, if you have a wrench, and you should have a wrench, Bikes, you can always share links.
He has a wrench.
Yeah. All right, so those are all the links down below. And I will be back tomorrow. Until I see you tomorrow, make sure to keep that family close. Watch out for that government. Try to live as free as you can in the tyrannical world we're finding ourselves living in. And think about it. Which way do you think is going to happen? Or what's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? Because something's got to give. It's getting worse every single day. And I don't see us voting our way out of any of this. So, food for thought. Thank you to everybody who showed up. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. You make it a lot of fun to do this, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just having a good time talking with friends on the internet. Not a show. It's just a fun time. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.